Good evening and morning. I don't think it's
Good
afternoon.
afternoon.
Who's it afternoon for, though?
Somebody.
Okay,
Doesn't the world
somebody.
go 24 hours around or
Well, everybody that it would be afternoon for is in the Pacific. Wait, Pacific or the Atlantic? Atlantic.
Pacific?
Is it Pacific?
It's pretty Pacific. Yeah,
Okay,
because
yeah, it would be
In
Pacific. So
California right
it's
now, it's
so it's the it's like New Zealand, maybe? New Zealand, it might be afternoon, New Zealand.
maybe,
Yeah. All
maybe.
right. Well, good day, everybody. Welcome.
Yes.
Uh,
Welcome to
welcome
Don't
to
Worry
Don't
Wednesday
Fret
on the Friday
Friday.
edition.
Yeah, don't fret Friday. Don't freak out Friday. Don't forget your uh, flip flops Friday. Um,
Don't forget your
so
flip
this
flops Friday.
this is the show where we tell you not to worry. This is the show where we talk about your concerns, whatever they are, whether they're family issues, issues with your friends, or maybe just issues with yourself. Um, and we aren't really here to be a substitute for professional advice, but we intend to be help along your daily life. Um, helping hand, be a friend, be someone you can get encouragement from, and that's about it. We actually have a couple of concerns that have been given to us over the last couple of weeks here that we have backlogged because we've been getting so many from you guys, and we really appreciate that. We appreciate that you guys are opening up to us so much. Um,
Yes.
I'm recovering well from my sickness. I was sick last Wednesday. I was still here, but yeah, I'm doing much better today. So my
Excellent.
logic should be a little bit more logical. My emotions should be a little bit the same. Um, a little bit the same at least.
But he looks just as good. Have you noticed?
I wasn't
Even
here for that.
even when you were sick, you still looked amazing.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's all your perception, and I
Well,
appreciate it.
and I do have to say he looked as good as this shirt.
Guys, look at his shirt.
You
Does
guys
that
need to look at.
look at his shirt, guys?
I have the very first edition, the very first product, I think.
Perhaps, yeah, you probably do.
I may have the first one of these. This is from our t-shirt contest that we had however long
Like
ago.
2 years ago. No.
It was a while ago, and this was the winning. You'll actually get to see. Well, it should be on the website. If you go to bss.studio. Um, oh, don't let Rose see. She was supposed to have the first. Dang it. Except, see, I just ordered one. Like, I actually bought it. As soon as it was available, I was like, I'm going to
It's like,
buy
I
one.
want that. And you bought it.
Yep, I bought it.
And we were like, Joe, like, hey, you can order it through our company so that it's cheaper. And he's like, no, I
I was
wanted
like,
one
I
today.
don't care. I wasn't going to wait around to ask, whoever. I was just going to go to the thing and buy it so I bought it. And I was like, yeah. And then I was like, okay, uh, BSS, don't spend all that, money in
In
one
one place.
place from that t-shirt sale, that
Yeah,
one
those
t-shirt
those
sale.
4 cents that you got. Haley, did I listen to Waving Through a Window? No, I did not. Joe, did you listen to that by any
I
chance?
did, and I liked it. I hearted it in there
Awesome.
because Haley, I love hearing you sing. And you had said on there that that you did it on your phone, and there was all kinds of little issues and stuff like that. I
Oh
tell you,
yeah.
your voice is beautiful, and once we get it, I would love to hear it like properly produced and done with better equipment, because I think, man, great job, Haley, and thank you for sharing.
Nice. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to listen to that yet.
Mhm.
I was mostly just laying in bed this entire time until today. So I didn't
Yeah,
do anything.
Ryan, can you post a link for the shirt for where people can buy the shirt? Jack the Naturally Unnatural is asking.
Are we opening it up to the public? I don't know, but I suppose. Yeah. Sure.
It's there,
harm,
man.
right?
It's there and it's available. I bought it for Pete's sake.
We're still updating. We're still adding more content there. We've got 2 shirts available right now.
There's 2. And I want I'm going to buy the other one too.
The other one just came out today. So hold on. Actually, yeah, okay. So let's do
John O. Taylor. Hey, I've noticed some of your comments. Some of the recent videos that have been posted on the YouTube, those are not new live streams. Those are segments of old live streams. So now we're starting to trickle those out as they get produced. So now we will have question specific videos, and there will be links in like attached to each question in the forums. Basically, if you go to this website here, this is not where you buy the t-shirt. This is the questions and topics from the live stream page of our website, and if you go there, you'll start to see those videos populate. They're also being podcasted on Podbean right now, so that has started to roll out as well. And yeah, so we just, man, thank you guys for being a part of this.
I don't know if this works. So I don't know if that link will work, but go ahead and click on that.
I'm gonna click on it.
Yeah, I don't know if it
works. Hey, it goes to the homepage.
Okay, it goes to the homepage or our homepage?
The Redbubble homepage with our account on there. Okay, and then you can click on the you guys can search around, but yeah, if you click on one of those one of the images that says recently added,
yeah, at the bottom,
some of the merchandise,
you click on them, you'll see that we've got mugs, we've got shirts, a bunch of different stuff. Coffee mug, yeah. So yeah, check it out. If you want to buy it, buy it. If you don't want to buy it, don't buy it. This is just like, we didn't even finish this thing yet. So
yep.
And we're still working on it.
This shirt that I'm wearing right now is the unisex t-shirt.
Because Joe's a unicycle.
I'm a unicycle. That's right.
That's right.
Oh man.
Show no Taylor. I'm gonna show it. It's not really that inappropriate.
Joe's a unicorn.
Joe's a unicorn. Yes, unicorns are neither male nor female. Great. Wow. Okay. What can we opened now?
Yes. Yes. Well, this is supposed to be a show where we talk about stuff.
Yeah. So there you go. Hey, you can Google that kind of Google those 2 items that we have, those 2 item sets. Again, yeah, you can get a mug, you can get all sorts of different things, phone cases and bags and whatever. So shirts. You can't get corn tortillas though. You can't get corn tortillas at this place.
You can't.
Everybody who wanted a corn tortilla.
But the shirt smells a little bit like corn tortillas.
Perfect. Then everybody wins. All right. Can't get better than that. Guys, buy one now. I mean, don't you want to smell a corn tortilla? Don't you want to smell like a corn tortilla? I
do. All right. Princess, yes, we will link to it on the website somewhere at some point. And will Ro get a cut? That's a good question. Did we work out something with her? We should.
I'm not sure that we did. I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, I
That's
don't
a
know.
my
That's from
brother's the one in
the
charge of all
finance
of
department. Yeah.
that. So let's see here.
Well,
Where are we starting from?
well, our first one was going to be, let's see what we got. We got
Do we have
anonymous. Oh, we did anonymous, the one that Princess
is Amira here
posted.
this time?
Oh, Amira, yes.
It doesn't I haven't seen a comment from them yet. I don't think Amira is here.
Nope, I haven't seen Amira yet. We did also have one from Akil, or no, not Akil, Aunt Leah.
Yeah, Aunt Leah. Aunt
Aunt
Leah.
Leah, that was kind of an older one.
I don't know. Aunt Leah's here.
Yep, we've got Aunt Leah. We've got Haley had one. And
Okay.
Master Lay.
Master Lay.
Yep. And Kayla also. So it's kind of okay. It was gonna go Amira, and then Kayla, and then it looks like Master Lay, and then Haley, and then Akil.
Okay. Which
Is the
Kayla
order
is it?
that it
Which
came.
one is it? We did
Kayla.
the Mormon LGBTQ one.
Yep. But this is a new one. This is Sudden Confession from Kayla.
Uh-huh.
But I
Okay.
don't see Kayla here yet.
Kayla. It is already 9, which
Yeah.
means she might already be off.
Yeah.
Which, sorry for being so late here, everybody. Master
Yes.
Lay is here. Nice to see you, my friend.
Yeah. You want to start with Lay here?
Yeah, that sounds great. Helping others, but I lost my stuff. Okay. So today I had a friend over. She overstayed. I had to walk her home. So as I was returning home around midnight, I heard a shout, "Help!" I started walking that direction, and as I heard more of the screams, I started running. I walked on a person who had a terrible stab wound. Wow. Okay. I walked in on a person who had a terrible stab wound somewhere above their knee. So like I decided to wrap my shirt around that wound and apply pressure. Hot dang, man. What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Hashtag movies. Yeah. Paramedics arrive. They take that guy to the ambulance, drive off to the hospital, and my shirt with them. I had my wallet in there. Wow. Okay. So I lost my wallet. There wasn't any money in it, but I lost my school ID and my monthly bus ticket. I thought I'd call the nearest hospital, but they said they heard nothing about this. Any ideas what I could do? Wow, Lay,
Oh my goodness.
you're amazing. That's
Yeah, first of all,
crazy.
that is quite a heroic thing you did.
Fun fact, I still had no news of my wallet. Okay, you still have no news of your wallet. All right. Take it
Wow.
away.
Man, oh man. That's crazy. I'm not exactly sure what would you would do to get the best result. Um so okay. I would imagine if you had an ID in there in the wallet, then hopefully whoever at the hospital would, you know, see it or find it and then figure out like if your address is correct on your ID that's in there, you know, they'd be able to send it to you. Hopefully that would be the case. I mean, you can always call around. It says here that you called the nearest hospital and they heard nothing about it. Wow. Um, I mean, you can call the other hospitals in the area. If there are multiple hospitals, just, maybe just call around and just start calling and say, one of the things one of the things I've found when you're making a phone call to places, a lot of times if you just call like the main operator line or whatever, like they they don't necessarily know how to help if you're dealing with a certain issue, So it's like if they don't know, or if they say I haven't heard anything about this, and then one question I've learned to ask is like, okay, that's fine. Who would I talk to that may know about this? What department would I talk to? The emergency department, the trauma department, the crazy stab wound department, whatever. So like, um that's one thing you can do, and just try and track back. Okay, if you can't help me personally where you're at, can you direct me to someone that maybe has a better chance of being able to help? A person that was there that night, you know, because I'm sure you remember the night that, if you can remember the date and the time that the incident happened, and then it can give you a good idea of when maybe they got to the hospital. Um, but any information that you have that you can share as far as that's concerned, and then just keep asking, hey, who is there someone I could talk to that may know more, and maybe you can get a little bit further with that. But luckily you didn't have any money but your school ID and your bus ticket. So the next thing to do probably would be to get in touch with your school registration office. People lose their school IDs all the time. you know it's Hey, it might cost you a little bit to replace it, but I bet you if you explain the story, well, some people, if you explain the story, they might not believe it, because you're right. Hashtag movies. It's
Yeah,
very much
amazing.
wow, it's crazy. But yeah, go to whatever office at the school is that handles the IDs or whatever, and just explain to them what happened, and say you don't have your ID anymore and you need a new one, and so that can get replaced. Now your monthly bus ticket, I'm not sure. I've not had a monthly bus ticket before, so I mean, I would imagine if it's a monthly one, I would imagine you had to register that with your name and probably an identification and all this kind of stuff, to get that. Um, and maybe there's a record of you getting it, and you can let them know
It
what
might be.
happened. So, but yeah, just basically I would call whoever issued your ID, and then whoever issued your bus ticket, and just explain to them what happened, because honestly, that's one thing. I mean, people lose their wallets all the time. People have their wallets stolen all the time, and they have all their valuable stuff in there. And so this type of thing happens. And so there are things in place to help people get all that stuff replaced. So, but it just might mean making some phone calls to some places to get that stuff going. But I got to tell you, that is amazing that you took the time. You heard somebody call for help, you responded, rather than just ignoring it. So many people would have just kept walking or said, well, it's not any of my concern, whatever. No, you did it, and you
Mm-hmm.
helped them out, and you took care of them and saw them off to the ambulance, got them in the proper you know place where somebody could help them, and did what you could. And I applaud you 100,000 times for that, Lay. That is absolutely fantastic. And I'm sorry that you've kind of you've gotten kind of a raw deal from it, but probably what'll happen, I can tell you, if it's anything like the way things usually happen for me, or actually this happened to my wife too, where she lost her driver's license. She couldn't find it, all this kind of stuff. It was, and she like freaked out. And I'm like, it's not a big deal. People lose their licenses all the time. People have their wallets stolen all the time. We'll just call the Secretary of States. We'll get a new one. No big deal, you know? And so we ordered the new license. It was going to be there. She got the paper one, you know, to get her by, you know, and
Mhm.
then the new photo one was going to be coming in 2 weeks or something like that. And then, like, an hour later, she found it.
Nice.
So probably, um, you know, once you go through and you know, call and you know, get everything going to get all this stuff replaced, you know, maybe then the next day it'll show up in the mail because whoever at the hospital will be like, oh, this needs to be sent to the right person, you know. So
Mm.
yeah, but no, thank you for being who you are, Lay. That was really really awesome of you to do that, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna turn it over to Ryan and he can take it from here. So
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I could add really a whole lot more than what Joe said, but I think it's important to the when you said, you know, when you call, make sure you ask who can I get in touch with that might know this answer, because a lot of times when you call something, they have many different no matter what business is, no matter what business it is, they have many different people doing many different jobs. And the person you call on the phone isn't always the person that you need to talk to. In fact, most of the time, they're not the person that can help you. They're the person that tries to address you to another person. And so if you ask them, like, you know, have you heard of this or whatever? Who can I contact? I think that's important. So, uh, yeah, just keep that in mind. Just as Joe said. And I didn't realize that you were from Poland, man. I'm part
yeah,
Polish,
me
so
neither.
hey, we're probably brothers. No, okay, that's not true. But awesome. Um, but yeah, I just want to say that's yeah, you're awesome and amazing for um making that sacrifice. And it's kind of interesting you lost your wallet. It could have fallen out, you know, obviously in the ambulance itself, or before the ambulance, or after, or while they were pulling that person out of the ambulance. All three of those things could have happened. So it's important also maybe to call the ambulance, which you contacted the first time, to ask
Mm,
if they had seen the wallet. Um, that might get you a little bit farther, because they might have just grabbed it and held on to it, because they don't necessarily work for a particular hospital or whatever. They might be independent or whatever. So they don't turn it into anybody. They just hold on to it themselves until someone comes and picks it up from them. So yeah, I don't know how it is in Poland, but um, yeah, just I would maybe perhaps call the ambulance and see if they um, have the wallet, or um, and if they say they're not sure, ask for somebody who is on that shift, um, who would have been driving the ambulance at that time, since you know the general time and date that it happened. So,
mhm.
um, but yeah, um, I don't really have much to add on to that. Joe pretty much gave all the best advice you can possibly get, you know, and it's unfortunate if you don't find it and you just end up having to pay that fee, but um, props to you.
Mhm.
I'm just called 999, Polish medical emergency number. 998 is fire. 997 is police. 112 is emergency Europe, or emergency European, and they dispatch an ambulance, right? And yeah, that is the thing. A lot of times, that's the way it is here in America too. You can't usually contact the ambulance or the fire um, department directly. You have to call the police, and they will dispatch the emergency vehicle or personnel, which I find is a little bit strange. But that's the way they do it around here to keep everything logged better.
Mhm.
It's interesting because I've heard of people calling the fire department and then the fire department saying, "Sorry, you have to call the police," and they'll send us. It's like, what? What? Okay. But yeah, that's just how it is. So yeah, it might be hard to contact the emergency vehicles. So what you can do, um, you can just call what 999 or 998, whatever it is, 999, and then say, "Hey, it's not an emergency. I'm just wondering if I can get in contact with the ambulance that that picked up a wounded uh, pedestrian on this date. I lost my wallet and I'm not sure if it somehow ended up in the ambulance." You can explain that to the officers when you report your emergency. But yeah, first thing you should do in that case is say, "Hey, this isn't an emergency. I just am um, looking for my wallet, which might be on or might be in the hands of the emergency vehicle that came to pick up my whatever, this person." So
Mhm.
that's an option. You aren't going to get in trouble for doing that. They might put you on hold, but
Yeah.
that's an option too.
Yep.
It
And I
can be,
believe the number
yeah,
is 0118999.
999. Yes.
Oh man, and whoever can get that reference.
Yeah, I don't know. 725 3.
Three.
Oh, 11899998819.
Blah blah blah.
725 3.
Three.
Anyone gets a reference, I'll be impressed.
Yep, I'll be surprised and delighted.
Delighted in for
Yes.
sure.
So, shall we move on? Masterly, I hope that helps.
Yeah,
Um,
I applaud you though. That
yep.
man, you're awesome.
And that's a great idea. Go to the nearest police office and report it lost. That's
Hmm.
for sure. You can do that. Depending on how effective the police are, that might get you somewhere. But the best thing you can do also, call the issuers of the things you need to have, like your student ID and your bus ticket, and call those
Right.
places and just let them know too. That at least, you may get a replacement faster than you'll get your originals. Um,
Yeah,
so
that's true. But yeah, don't be afraid to contact these people. It might be a little bit like you might get a little bit nervous contacting the police, like whatever, for a non-urgent matter, but it's totally cool. Don't be nervous. You have to do what you got to do.
mhm,
So I guess the next one is from Haley, right?
mhm. Yep, and Haley is here.
Awesome. I'll
And
let you.
huh?
I said I'll let you read this one.
Okay. Haley, you are still here, and thank you for posting the question. And yes, she said this is a bit of a complex situation. Um, so I will just read it. It says, on Monday morning, I found out that my dad has been having an affair. Not only that, he wanted to stay with his girlfriend. Obviously, my mom was heartbroken, obviously.
Hmm.
However, I just smiled through it and focused on the phrase, I have to be okay. Monday evening, she asked him to move out. However, yesterday his girlfriend broke up with him. My mom said he could come back, but he came back angry. He hasn't treated her well over the years, and he told her it was her fault he cheated. I'm conflicted and confused, unsure of how to feel. So instead, I focus on, I have to be okay. I feel like I have to be okay no matter how I truly feel. I have to be okay for myself, for those around me, and my family. I feel almost guilty because I don't seem to feel much most of the time, but I wonder if that's due to shock, denial, confusion, and trying to force myself to be okay. I worry about my mom. I'm scared that he's going to hurt her even more than he already has. She herself has said that she's second place. He came back because his girlfriend broke up with him. Yet my mom wants to make things work all the same. I love my dad, which conflicts me more. It's hard to believe this is happening. I don't want to lose him, but I also don't want my mom to be in pain. Not to mention how I haven't even cried over this. It's strange. I don't know. Any advice?
Wow.
Wow, Haley. Thank
Wow.
you for posting this. And
Hmm.
you know, Haley had posted it, and then had some second thoughts about the fact that she had posted it. But I think, you know, this is definitely a major challenge. It would be for me, you
I
know.
think it is. It would be for anybody.
Yeah, no, it's and
Yeah.
and no, it's not long and complicated by any means. I mean, it is complicated, and there's a lot going on here, but it's good to have the explanation. So it helps to have that background. And first of all, I want to tell you that we love you, and we're really glad you're here. We're really glad that you found the Don't Worry Wednesday stream in the BSS community, because there are people here that will just wrap digital arms around you and love you just for who you are. And but Ryan, what are your thoughts on this one to start with?
Yeah. That's that's really a lot to deal with, and I think I can understand your confliction with yourself about you know having wanting to remain strong, but at the same time had that inner confliction of like, I'm not expressing how I'm feeling. Am I having no feelings? That confusion. I want to say that I'm very impressed with you in this matter. The fact that you are repeatedly telling yourself that you have to be okay, and doing so for yourself and for others around you, like your mom and your dad, etc. I think that's really good. um, don't don't feel like you've cheated yourself or like you've taken the low road or anything like that. I think that trying to stay strong, and telling yourself to stay strong through these type of situations is extremely important, for those reasons, so for yourself and for others around you. Now, of course, it can be good to let loose and let your feelings out, in certain settings. That can be definitely, where healing can come from. Um, but while the struggle is going on, everyone needs a little bit of logic to carry them through, a little bit of strength. So I just want to say that I'm glad that you're doing that, and I don't want you to feel any shame or guilt or anything because you're doing that. I think that's a good thing.
Hmm.
It takes a lot of strength, and yeah. Um, but you know, for your dad, for your mom, I should say, for your mom, to her intention, it seems, is to make things work, regardless
Hmm.
of the fact that your father had an affair. It seems as though her intention is to, um, make things work again. And I hope that works for her. I hope that she can do it, and I hope that he can do it. Um, I'll tell you that that's extremely noble, extremely, um, if you will, holy, um, because that takes an extreme amount of forgiveness. Most people are never willing to forgive people who cheat on them. And for someone to be willing to do that requires a lot of forgiveness, a lot of love, a lot of self-sacrifice, sacrificing their own desires and etc. Um, so I got to hand it to your mom. That's amazing.
Hmm.
And of course, you love your dad. Yeah, I'll tell you, everybody makes mistakes. Everyone does stupid stuff. And the thing is, just because you get married doesn't mean you don't make mistakes anymore, right? Just because you get married doesn't mean that your emotions don't just go which way or that. Um, I'll tell you, like, lots of people can tell you, I got married, or I had a girlfriend, and then all of a sudden I had feelings for another girl. I didn't understand it, but I couldn't deny my feelings, so I went with this other girl, you know. But the point is, you really do have to deny your feelings there, right? I mean, that's the right thing to do, but it's not easy, right? If it was easy, then no one would do it. But people do it because they're emotionally confused, and it happens. Am I saying that it's okay? Absolutely not. But the fact that your mom is forgiving them, you're forgiving your father, I think that is um, incredible. That is very, very incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And so, um, if I were you, I would honor your mother's wishes in that. I understand that you don't want your mom to get hurt anymore. You don't want your dad to be continuously hurt either. And you just want everything to be okay. And unfortunately, it's not just going to be okay, because healing, as Joe has said many times before, a lot of times healing comes through pain.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Sometimes you have to suffer pain before things get better. Sometimes the pain is the healing substance, and it's working through that pain together. A great example is, if you get a wound on your leg, you have to put disinfectant into it, like rubbing alcohol or something, and that's
And that
painful.
hurts.
And it hurts. It stings. It's like, ow, why did I do this to myself? Right. But that's part of healing. That's a pain that results in something very good. And so um, I think you're in a lot of ways on the right path. Um, but yeah, I can understand your worries here, your concerns, because they're very legitimate. And how do you deal with all this, right? One, I would say, um, don't question yourself too much on part of, why am I not crying? Why, etc. Because we all have different personality types. Some people's emotions overtake them very powerfully, and some people don't. And some things affect us more than others, like, we talked about this before, but sometimes someone in the family dies, right? And you don't weep, and then you feel like a monster because you're the only one that didn't weep. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. That's very normal. Some people, they just end up seeing that face to face, someone's death, and instead of crying, they feel almost emotionally void. And that's just their reaction. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing evil or broken or anything. There's nothing less human. So you shouldn't question yourself there. You're fine. I'm sure. Um, but yeah, I mean, if you feel like you've got these emotions that you need to let out, it's okay to do that in a healthy environment, maybe just with yourself or with a close friend, and that's all right. Talking about those things and letting those things out. But you always got to be mindful when you vent, not to create a habit of uh, being negative about everything. Sometimes people vent, and then they complain, etc., and then they make a habit of doing that. I don't think that you're going to. I'm just, putting that out there. If you vent, just make sure that you're not doing it for the wrong reasons. um, but yeah, I could totally understand. My mom, or my stepdad cheated on my mom, and my ex stepdad. They got a divorce soon after. And my mom, honestly, has forgiven him. She still loves him, as you tend to do regardless. It's just you end up loving them from a distance, because you don't want that in your life because it's harmful, right? So, what can you do about your situation with your mom and your dad and everything that's going on? That's really tough because you don't get to pick your dad's feelings, how he interacts or how he reacts or what he feels about his current situation. I think he feels more than anything probably self um what's the word? I don't want to say self-hate, but disappointed in himself for doing what he's done. Disappointed that he's probably even disappointed that he loved this other girl more, or felt more stronger feelings, I should say, for this other girl. Um, and probably that disappointment carries over into the fact that now he's living back at with his wife in this stage where he is full of regret and disappointment, and he looks at himself, and probably he's looking at himself and saying, well, how broken am I now? Like, I went off with this other girl, now she didn't like me, and I'm back here with my wife, who, I already betrayed. And I bet you he just feels so disappointed, and that disappointment leads to anger, because he's angry with himself, and then it's so easy to be angry with the whole world around you when you're angry with yourself. And it's not because the world did anything wrong, but because he has to figure out how to get past what he's done. And you know how hard that is? That's one of the hardest things to do. And I hope he can look to your mother and see her forgiveness and begin to forgive himself. All that you can do in this scenario, I think the best thing you can do is just try to be supportive. Spend time with your dad, help him. It's so hard, but how do you help him start to feel okay about what he's done? There's no way. The only way is, I can see this turning out for him, is there's two ways. One, the one way is to let go and forget and forgive, like basically end everything. Not end everything is in life, but end everything, all relationships, go live off by himself for several years, more several years than that, even more years than that. Okay, now he's mostly forgotten it. And now he's not upset as much. Or he learns to forgive himself in what he chooses to do now. And what he can choose to do is work towards fixing his relationship with your mother. Because if he fixes his relationship with his mother, or with your mother, or his wife, that will, it won't make it so that the problem never happened, but it will make him realize and be able to move on. Because I've seen it before, by the way. There are relationships that I know of which two people have, or one person had an affair and they split. They even got a divorce, some of them, and then eventually they came back together, whether they got a divorce or not. And because they ended up working on the relationship together, working on it together to make it better. And a lot of times that started with one person, just one of them trying for a very long time before the other person starts trying. But it's the other person trying to make the other person feel loved. It's the person that wants the relationship to work, trying their best to make the other person feel loved. And then when they feel loved, they start to let their emotions do the work for them and start to love back. And then the relationship starts to connect more. Then they have that motive to reconnect and make the relationship work. And then through that, they've now taken this relationship, which has been destroyed, and built it back up. And when you build it back up, it's even stronger than before, because you've proven, hey, look, this terrible thing happened and we got through it. So if he can get into that mindset, if you can cheer him on into that mindset, if you can be patient with him and understanding with him, and supportive of him in the right direction here, and especially supportive of your mom, helping your mom to do those things, even as weird as it sounds, asking your mom what you can do to maybe kindle a relationship in some way. Like your mom might say, "Hey, I got an idea. I got this event planned. Can we set up? Can you go pick some flowers?" And then, whatever it is, she might have ideas. But helping, I think that's the best solution here, because the other solution is him running away and then running away until he forgets. And that will never, that's not okay. That's miserable.
Yeah.
So when you make a dedication, when you say, "I'm marrying this person from life, from life until death, till death do we part, through sickness and health, no matter what happens," you make that dedication, you go back on that, that hurts, right? And so I can imagine the pain he's going through. And yeah, I touched on everything I can kind of really touch on. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna let it over to Joe and see what kind of things he has to say about it.
Oh, Ryan, I really love what you said. I mean, from the nobility of Haley's mom, and also the the pain that Haley's dad must be feeling as well because of this. I mean, like, it's all, the whole situation is painful. I remember a guy telling me one time, a former coworker of mine, he said, "Yeah, my first marriage ended because I had an affair, and then I married the girl that I had an affair with. And I found out that was the biggest mistake to make, because an affair is a relationship that's built on a lie. It's built on distrust."
It's
And,
built on shame. Yeah.
exactly, like, it's built on, so, like, already a lack of integrity, right there at the beginning. A relationship requires integrity in order to last, so I do want to, first of all, just reiterate what Ryan was saying about, you know, making sure you understand how noble your mom is for wanting to work this out. She takes her marriage vow very seriously, it seems, from what you said. You know, that yes, when you make that marriage vow, you mean it, and it's for life, and it's until one of you dies, and that's it. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what happens. We're married, and that's it. And I admire your mom for that. And just as Ryan was saying, for your dad, he made that same commitment and ended up going back on it in a moment of weakness, or several moments of weakness, or whatever. And that will cut him to the heart too, because he knows. And we can't help but try. I mean, it's kind of wired into us, into our sinful nature. We always want to blame something other than ourselves. We don't want to accept responsibility. We want to find some reason. We got to justify why we did something. And so that's just kind of a natural response in
Because it
this
doesn't
type
sit
of
well.
situation. Exactly, because it hurts. We know, we don't, yeah. So, but Haley, I guess for the stuff I have to say, I'm gonna talk to you and what you're dealing with, and say, uh, first of all, you may know this already, but I want to restate that none of this is your fault at all. I know that when there's trouble between a mom and a dad, the children hurt.
Mm-hmm.
The children hurt more than anything. The children blame themselves. The children are vulnerable in that situation, and part of it is because where there was a security in the relationship between the mother and father, that security is now gone, or at least damaged. Maybe not gone all the way, but at least it's damaged. And these two people that you love, you know they're having this issue, and it kind of drops the bottom out of the sense of security for the child. And the children start blaming themselves. Children start thinking, oh, if I'd have been a better child, maybe this wouldn't have happened. All this kind of stuff. And it's a natural response. And I want you to know that it's not your fault. That none of this is your fault. And I admire you for wanting to be strong. And Bede said something very important. Back up here a little way, was responding to this situation and said that they learned. I gotta go back up and find it. I want to make sure I say this right, so I gotta go back and find it. Sorry, guys. But Bede, you had something really good to say. Oh yes, Bede says, one of the best moments of my life was when I was in a similar emotional state. Was when I decided that it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to hurt.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to feel pain. It's okay to allow yourself to feel pain. And I know it sounds like, you don't seem to feel much most of the time. And it could be due to shock. This is pretty recent. There's shock, denial, confusion. I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head with all that. I mean, it's just a whirlwind of stuff, and it's kind of hard to know. Like, you can't react almost. You can't feel because there's so much that hits you all at once. And here you are, trying to wrap your head around this and be strong for your mom and still love your dad and all these kinds of things, which, wow, the fact that you're thinking about them in this situation says a lot about your heart, that you have a selfless heart, that you want to help other people. And I admire you, Haley. I really, really, truly do. But like Bede said, it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to let yourself hurt. It's okay to let yourself cry. You haven't cried over this, I don't think that's very strange. I think maybe the shock might have something to do with that, But understand, it's okay for you to love both of them still. Like Ryan was talking about, Even though this is happening, you still want to love your dad, and you can. We can still love people even when they do something absolutely horrific. We don't have to approve of what they do in order to love them. I have 2 sons, and I don't always approve of what they do. They do things that frustrate the living daylights out of me once in a while.
Yep.
I understand. It's crazy. I mean, and this is not anything close to what you're going through, but it's, it's just the illustration of you can love a person and be upset about what they're doing, and that's an okay response. And I also want to say that understand that it's not your mom's fault that your dad cheated. He may say that, but
Oh yeah, I wanted to say that too. I forgot. Yeah.
It's not her fault. So, I mean, the truth of the matter is, it's his fault. It's his responsibility. He took that action and he had the choice. It may have taken a long time to get to that choice, may have been a long drawn out process to get to the choice of finally going that direction. But it would, that was not your mom's fault. And like Akil just said, that your mom is handling this beautifully. because she values the marriage. Yeah, I'm glad you know that, Haley. And yeah, so you have a very firm grasp on the situation, it sounds like. So now it's just time to work through your own feelings. It may take some time. The shock may take some time to unfold and to get through that part.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing, and it may take you a while to get to this, but there's going to have to be healing. This is going to be a long and drawn out process for both your mom and your dad. This healing process. This is, it's a big deal. This is a big, very, very damaging thing that happened. And it's going to take some time to get through. But remember, for you, that you will probably go through a healing process as well. This blow was struck to your heart, as it was also struck to your mom's and your dad's and your whole family. I mean, everybody's affected by this.
Mm-hmm.
And your healing, Haley, will begin, the road to your healing will begin with forgiveness. And you don't have to forgive all at once. You don't have to, be like, hey, just be okay right away. But working towards forgiveness, working through unpacking it in your brain, and working through getting to that point where you can forgive, and then forgiving. You don't have to say it out loud to them, but just in your heart, forgive. When you can get to that point, then your healing process truly will, take off on, and you will really start to heal from this whole situation. My thoughts and my prayers are with you, Haley, and I love seeing you here. I love seeing you on BSS.studio. I really hope you stick around and continue to contribute. Took a lot of courage for you to post this. I admire you greatly. And really just want you to know that. And we're here for you. And hopefully some of what we said can be some help. But yeah, it's a complicated issue. It's tough. It's painful. It's just a big mess.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to take some time to clean up. It's going to take some time to, unpack everything and get it all straightened out again. And there will probably still be scar tissue for years. But like Ryan said, you'll be the strongest. You'll be stronger for having gone through it. These challenges are gifts in their own way.
Mm-hmm.
Because, any evil that happens can bring forth a greater good than was possible before the evil. So if you can remember that somewhere, tuck that thought down in your head, that the evil things that happen to us really bring us to greater levels of good that we never would have gotten to before if we hadn't gone through those challenges. So I will parrot what people have been saying in the chat. Stay strong. We love you. And I hope some of that helped, Haley. And thank you for posting.
Yeah, Joe, thanks for touching on that. And you said one more thing, Haley, I want to touch on. Is that you just recently posted, I like better to ignore mine and focus on those around me, trying to help all my siblings and my mom and stuff. And I think, you have a very big heart and that's important. So keep on doing that. That's good. But also remember that you need to spend time with yourself and get your relationship with yourself right as
Mm.
well. Because if you don't, um, then the others will around you will suffer as well. There's a phrase, you cannot give what you do not have.
Mm.
Um, if you don't have money, you can't give money to the poor. If you don't, have a hand, you can't lend a hand.
Right.
But so make sure you are, even though you want to ignore your own emotions and your own problems and so on, to help those around you, and that's very good to help them. Make sure that you are still taking time to, that's one thing that you can do that I would suggest everybody do more, is that they spend a little bit of time on themselves,
Mm.
um, because that goes a long way.
Mhm.
Gotta get yourself right before, you can really, because ultimately the only way you make a difference in the world is through how you act. And a lot of times your actions are based on yourself, you know, how you view the world, how you view others around you, how you view yourself, how you feel that day, what you feel like you want to do, all of this kind of stuff. And so to keep yourself intact, to keep yourself well built up, um, even if it hurts, especially if it hurts, honestly, that's the time when you need it the most. You know, um, time you need to spend when you need to spend time with yourself the most is when it hurts the most, um, because that's when you have an interior problem that you have to figure out and solve. Because when you lift that off yourself, when you lift that burden from yourself, when you get that problem solved, um, your ability to help others will come much easier. You'll be able to smile more and bring smiles to others a lot easier. And your attitude is going to be a lot easier to check up on and keep up. So yeah, spend time on yourself too. Don't forget about that.
Mhm.
You are important
Yeah,
and worth spending time on.
absolutely. We think you're worth spending time on.
Hmm. We just did.
We did, and we'll continue to.
Hmm.
So thank you again, Haley. You are amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. So Akil is here. Are we going on to Akil's?
Yeah, that's next one in line.
All right, cool. Do you have a stopping point in which you need to stop?
I don't know, maybe like 40 minutes or something like that from now.
Okay. All right.
We'll see.
Akil. So while I am still in exile, so this is from Akil. So while I'm still in exile, I found people from the server that I haven't seen in ages. I think he's talking about in a game, Path of Exile, or is he talking about in our server? I'm wondering. I'll just continue reading and see where this goes. Uh, I'm pretty sure he might be talking about our server. So while I'm still in exile, I found people from the server that I haven't seen in ages. Sadly, I can't um, really catch up with one of them properly because someone from their past is quite emotional, to say the least. Seeing themselves abandoned by the friend, the other person started anonymously calling them out as betrayer, refusing to approach them personally. They even went out on the length of exposing private information of the person. How do
Mm.
you handle someone like that? The friend tried everything to fix that, asking them to talk to them personally to see what they've done wrong. They got nothing. They just vanished. Um, all right.
Mm.
So, yeah, it seems like he has a friend who has another person who is kind of just blackmailing them from behind the scenes, and they were
Mm.
refusing to talk to rekindle their friendship or anything like that.
Yeah. Wow. How do you handle someone like that? I have a really short and concise answer for that type of situation, and that's just cut it off.
Mm-hmm.
That's what, like, if you're dealing with someone, they're all of a sudden starting to call, they're calling them names, they're exposing information, they're doing all this kind of stuff. I mean, what? And then when it's tried to address one-on-one, they won't respond. That relationship that's not a friend.
It's not even like a relationship at that
No,
point.
that's like, I mean, that's not a friend. And I can remember there was a time when I was having a conversation with my dad once, and I was like, there's this friend and blah 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 blah, and they're doing this and they're doing this, and he just looked straight at me and he said, "Well, that's not a friend." And I remember it blowing my mind, like, like, whoa, he's right. That's not a friend. you know and so probably, I mean, I guess it depends on what you can do. Some damage control, you can kind of try and clean things up a little bit, and maybe I don't know, but sometimes you can't, because once things are posted, they're posted, and there's not really much you can do about it, because people who have seen it have already seen it. But I mean, you might be able to, if it's on a server somewhere, maybe you can get in touch with the admin and get some of the stuff deleted, at least, or hidden, so it's just not out there for the world to see anymore. If something happens like that on our server, first of all, let me say that I'm very sorry for any type of inappropriate action that happens at bss.studio. If it does, we try to monitor, but as we grow bigger and bigger, it's tougher to see, and so we need to have it pointed out sometimes. So if it does happen, make sure you get in touch with our IT department. It happens to also be our producer. Name is Jesse Van Slyke. He's tremendous, tremendous person, and he has no qualms about doing what's right. If someone is misbehaving or someone is posting some stuff, he has no trouble, you know, just beating around the bush. He doesn't beat around the bush. He just, hey, we gotta handle this, and he can handle it. So if it's on a different server, you might be able to get in touch with their system admin, and let them know, and maybe get some of that stuff taken off, some of the hurtful stuff. But other than that, I would probably just stop all contact. You know, if it's you, or then stop all contact. If it's a friend of yours, then advise your friend. Just, hey, they tried to talk to him personally to see what happened.
You've already done the right
And
thing.
yep, already done it. Then that's it. Don't go around chasing down, a painful situation. And I mean, I remember hearing somebody say one time, if you wrestle with a pig, all you do is you get mud all over you. And I don't think it's mud. It doesn't smell like mud. It might look like mud. But yeah, you don't change the pig's mind when you wrestle with a pig. You just get dirty. So, don't go out of your way to keep going, I guess. I mean, unless there's some kind of covenant relationship. If this is a marriage, then maybe then, because I mean, a marriage is a marriage and it's covenant bond. But it sounds to me like this is just a friendship, that may have been a close friendship at one point. But now there's some real painful stuff going on. And yeah, I would just distance myself from that person quickly. So, Ryan, what do you got?
Were you saying that the mud might be poopy?
Yes, that's what I was saying.
Ew. Gross.
Hey, genius, doesn't smell like mud.
What does mud smell like?
Probably depends on what's in it.
Wet dirt.
Wet dirt.
Wet dirt. So I mean, honestly, Joe's advice is probably the best advice you can get here. I'll tell you that as a third party, I've been able to do interactions with people to help solve problems fairly well, but I don't think that's applicable in this scenario. I'm going to give this advice not because it's necessarily applicable, but because it's helpful, possibly for someone down the road. You said, okay, their friends and me have been calming them down. They are just paranoid about who the anonymous person is, who could have done that.
Oh, so it's anonymous.
So they don't know who it is.
Oh, yeah, it says the other person started anonymously calling them out. Okay.
Yeah, so they don't know who it is. Okay. Yeah, that makes it rough. So if you don't know who it is, how do you figure it out? And then, all right. Well, unless, what you can do is just provide him or her, whoever it is, emotional strength and backing and remind them that like their words, like their intention is to hurt you, but you don't have to be hurt because their words don't determine your value and their words are words, they're mean. So why give them any emotional power over you? That's, if I see something that's intended to make me feel bad, I take a step back and say, well, I'm not going to feel bad because that's what they want. So eat that. I don't feel bad now. Ha, So give them that and tell them like, don't let any of that affect you. Like it's all just mean to make you feel bad. So don't feel bad. And then, with time, I hope you guys can figure out who it is. Whoever it is, I'm sure they don't feel good about themselves.
No. They don't.
So, they're not happy inside, and they're probably doing this because they're feel broken, and yeah, they're probably depressed or something. But it's really upsetting, and I wish the best for that person. I hope that person figures themselves out and comes out of this and stops acting up and also confesses so that they can get forgiveness. So I don't have to hold on to that pain forever.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really rough. Because how do you find, like, maybe if I was in the scenario, I could maybe help you find the culprit, but at the same time, I don't know your friends. I don't know this person's friends. I don't know their ins and outs of life, and I can't tell you, who it is, and I wouldn't want to assume somebody incorrectly, right? So you just got to give people the benefit of the doubt. So that's rough.
This goes to show, I remember the saying, "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words may never hurt me." You ever hear that saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest load of codswallop.
It is.
Because words are more hurtful than, a lot of things.
Yeah.
There is so much power in words. And this just goes to show that this is very hurtful. Yep, codswallop.
I know what cods could have wallops.
They do, man. They wallop. Wallop Friday.
Well, waddle wallop.
Yeah. So anyway, Ryan, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to
No,
interrupt you.
it's
That's
cool. But yeah, anyways, when you encounter somebody, like I've seen people create anonymous accounts and go onto chat services and start to misbehave.
mm,
Um, and what I do in that moment to solve the issue immediately is when I don't have any sort of power to solve the issue, right? Like I used to go on to, for example, like Chat and Go, which is on like most anime websites. They have their own little server they can talk on. Um, and I would go there, and then every once in a while, someone would just come on with a troll account, and they would just troll
mm,
people. They would be really mean. They'd point somebody and point out like, "Oh, you're British, so your teeth are big, and you got blah blah blah." And it's like, dude, like, so the person knows the person, but they're not revealing who they are themselves, and they're being jerks. And
mhm,
it's like, okay, so when I see that, this is what I do. I private message the person. I private message the person who's attacking and private message the person who's being attacked. And I started up two different conversations with both of them. The one who is being attacked, I started up a conversation about the other person and telling them like, hey, dude, like don't listen to him. You're cool. Like blah blah blah. And the person who's attacking, I start up a conversation that has nothing to do with the attacks. I start up a conversation intending to uplift them and point out good things about them. Because as soon as I start to point out good things about the person who is being a jerk, they recoil and they stop being a jerk. And the reason is because in their head, they're finding something that they like about themselves and then immediately being conflicted by something they know is wrong and they don't like about themselves. And by uplifting something that they like about themselves gives them the power to rise above the thing that they're doing that they know is not right. And I've seen it happen time and time and time again. I've done it probably about 20 times where I've seen that instance happen. And I just go to the person who's attacking and I private message them and I just say, hey, um, you know, I just start asking them questions. I start being friendly to them, and then I start pointing out things that are good about them. And a lot of times, I've seen not only them cheer up. I've had them release to me like, oh yeah, this is my other account. This is who my other, you know me. We're actually friends. I'm this other account. And I'm like, oh, it's you. I didn't realize that. They're like, yeah, sorry, I was trolling this guy. I got a little bit too carried away, you know. And I was like, okay, yeah, you should probably apologize. You know, seriously, it works amazing and you would not believe it. You would, because it's just the way the human mind works. Go to the person who's attacking them, pull them aside, and give them one-ups. Give them time, spend time with them, make them feel encouraged and important, and point out the things that are good about them. Even if because they're anonymous, you don't know who they are, right? But then in a conversation, talk to them, ask them questions, you know, and find good things about them. If you can do that next time you see this person, you should have some headway. And the more you do this, the better you're going to get at it until a point where you can see it happen and react immediately and solve the problem within like a minute. Um, because and I know it's true because I've done it many times. So yeah, that's my advice in the moment. If you can, and that's my advice to anybody who's witnessing someone being a troll or being a jerk, whatever, online, is just to approach that person, be nice, make a friendship, and then let that person know the things that you like about them. That's it. Make a friend. That's it. You'll solve the problem because the person stops. They do. It's impressive. Because then, after you make a friend with that person, your presence is in the chat with both of them, and they know you're there, and so then they stop wanting to be the bully because they're like, oh, this guy's my friend, you know, even though they just made that friend. It's funny, but now they feel like, oh, I can't be a jerk anymore. This person's here. Or if they start being a jerk, you can just like, you can finally, because you've made a friend, you can finally step out and say, hey, like, you guys are both cool people. You know, there's no reason to like fight. Like, you know, you guys are cool. And then that breaks it up also. So make a friend with the anonymous person. Just make a friend and then compliment them. Let them know what's good about them. And then problems mostly solved. So good luck with that.
Yeah.
It's
Not an
not
easy
too hard.
situation.
No, not an easy situation. And yeah, I don't know. You know, you don't want to accuse everyone around you. You don't want to be spying on people. It's better to just trust everybody and get backstabbed a few times than it is to segregate all your friends because you don't trust anybody anymore. Right.
Mhm.
So, I hope this person, this friend who got backstabbed or whatever, blackmailed, whatever it is, can retain his trust in people and his friends, and that his friends and that his trust doesn't fail or go downwards, especially the trust he has in his friends, so that he can keep those friendships. You know, eventually, a lot of times the truth just reveals itself. So, yeah.
Awesome, Ryan. You definitely, you know, it's so fun to have our two perspectives on things, you know, because
Mm.
sometimes we're like right locked together, but like in this situation, you know, it was, you know, there were some different nuances in there where I was just like, hey, cut it off, no more.
Well,
But
I agree with
you
that
came
theory,
around
though.
and you came around, but you had ways of actually fixing it that I hadn't thought of, you know, where you're in the chat and you're actually encountering them, you know, like the example you said where that person was trolling and, you know, you found out who it actually was, you know. So like, yeah. So that was really awesome how you put that, cuz yeah, maybe there's a chance you can save, you know, save a relationship here, which would be really great.
Right?
So,
Kayla came.
Kayla is here. Hello, Kayla.
Hi.
Yes, and you can get shirts and mugs and tapestry. Well, maybe you can't get a tapestry. I want a tapestry. That's what I want. I don't think I can get one yet, so that's okay. But anyway, so Kayla is here, but she says she's got to leave soon.
Oh, yeah. I read your comments, Kayla. Yeah. I haven't quite figured it out yet, but there's a chance I'll be going to. Well, I'll see if I can go to like OhioCon or something, so that we can have a chance to meet up at an anime convention or something. That
Hmm.
way, you have something to look forward to.
Yeah, and lots of love, Sonny. Yes, you can get some love here. You can get some love
Yeah.
there. You can get some love everywhere. As long as you're here with us, you can get some love.
Yeah, love's easy to come by in this chat. Tell you what.
Yeah, there's love all over the place. Yeah. So, okay. So, well, Kayla is here and we
Sorry,
skipped
Kayla.
over her.
I didn't have time to go to NyanCon, because it was too late of notice for me.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Detective, you could get a shower curtain. Detective, watching you shower.
I want that Ryan. I want the Ryan shower curtain. Oh my gosh,
Yes.
that one's
Did we
hilarious.
ever post that anywhere?
Did we? Do you know where we could get that picture from?
We gotta get a hold of Kyle. I
We
have
have to get
that
a
picture
picture.
on my computer
Oh,
actually.
do you?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you? Share it.
Put the picture on there.
Hilarious. Yeah, put it in the chat somehow. Can you like upload? Can you wait? How do you have it on your computer? Is it through an own cloud or anything? Or sorry.
I don't know. It might just be in my. Let's see. Let's see if it's in Nextcloud here.
I would feel so weird if Brian was watching me shower. I would feel weird if Brian was watching me shower.
Yeah, me too. Not there. Okay, it must be.
It was so funny. Kyle had a field day with that one.
Yeah.
It was hilarious.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the image is not uploaded to the internet. It's just on my computer.
Ah.
I don't know how I can
Wait.
give access to it.
Suddenly has it. Suddenly has it. Suddenly just shared it. That's it. That's it. Thank you, Suddenly. That's the one. I love it. The expression on my face in that photo. The wind slightly my hair, and then it just says, "I love you." The heart. The heart is tapped. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, Anna, you're back. Hey, check out the link that suddenly
I love it.
posted.
So ridiculous. We need it. My brother was suggesting, or someone was suggesting that we start walking into people's houses, like stay over at your parents' house or something, and then say, I gotta go take a shower. And when you go to take a shower, just change out the shower curtain with this one. So next time they go to take a shower, they see this in the bathroom when they walk in, and then they just scream. And then they look at it for like ever going, what on earth? Even if it was our own parents, they'd just look at it and be like, what the heck?
Yep.
My mom would probably leave it up and never take it down. That's my baby, she'd say.
Is it real? Anna says. Yeah.
We wish it was real.
It could be real.
Wasn't it going to cost like an insane amount of money, like $90 or something?
I don't know. I think so, but maybe on Redbubble we could do it cheaper.
Oh, it was like $60, but we had to sell it for like 80 to make a profit or something.
Yeah, because
yeah.
Well, if we were gonna make a bunch of them, but then we'd have to hold on to a whole bunch of shower curtains.
That would never sell. It would just be a prank. We would just have pranks. Because that's the only thing you can do with that.
Right. Yeah, it's not like a serious piece of merchandise.
Yeah, it's hilarious. I need that in my life, right? Stormer Wolf, right?
Yes, that's awesome. Oh man. Well, Kayla, yes, we can get to your question here. What you're dealing with here. We may not have a hugely long explanation or discussion on it, but we can get to it. So, do you want me to read it real quick, Ryan?
Yeah, please do.
Okay, so Kayla posted this on our last stream. We didn't have time to get to it, so we will get to it now. And Kayla posts, so I've had a close friend I've known for quite a while now, but more recently she came out and she said she liked me a lot. I felt awful because I really only saw her as just a close friend. When I told her she became really depressed to the point of contemplating suicide. I ended up having my cousin, who also knows her, talk her out of it because everything I said only made it worse. I felt so awful because she was wanting to end her life because of me. Apparently, I'm one of the few friends who have stuck by her through all she's going through. She expects me to open up to her and give her my heart, but I just can't. People have hurt me and abused my trust so much, I just don't know how to trust anyone again to open up much. She expects me to open up to her and give her my heart. Oh, that looks like that question or that sentence actually got posted twice.
Oh, yes.
So, yes. But I feel so alone that even I've been contemplating suicide. I can't handle being alone anymore. I just want the pain to stop.
All right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, Kayla, thank you for posting.
Thank you, Kayla. Yeah, that sounds pretty rough. You know, and it's not like you can just change your feelings, right? And I think that's good. I mean, we we tend to like who we like, right? And then we don't like who we don't like. Interesting thing is they're all just feelings. And so they never last forever, feelings, and they're not necessarily always the right thing. So you know, and to go out with somebody or something when you have absolutely no feelings or no desire even to be with them. I think if you have no feelings but you have desire, that's good. But if you have no desire, you have no reason, you have no, you know, no you wouldn't be able to say give a lifelong commitment to a person. Then yeah, it would be foolish and wrong to say, yeah, I'll change my mind and go out with you or something like that, right? So I think you're doing the right thing here. But the right thing isn't always easy. It's very difficult at times. It's really unfortunate that she's responded the way that she has, though. And I wouldn't say that her wanting to commit suicide is because of you. You might say it is because you denied her and now she wants to commit suicide. So you say, well, that is my fault. Well, I would say otherwise. I would say more likely she was holding off from suicide because of you, and now she's no longer holding back as much, and not because of you, but all because of her. And that's not, I'm not trying to say, I'm not trying to put all the blame on her. Who knows what's going on in her life, right? She's probably got a lot going on in her life. But ultimately, if someone commits suicide, it's the fault of the person who commits suicide. And wanting to commit suicide, though, I mean, that comes from lots of different sources and not just one. A lot of them, it's influences from around you, like, friends that talk about suicide a lot, or the media talking about people committing suicide, or family who've committed suicide, or whatever. Oh, hey, Ro. So it's just rubbing it in your face. Don't do that.
I'm not. I'm just announcing, Ro, that I have your artwork. I'm wearing Ro's artwork.
She's shirt. Shirt. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, it's amazing, Ro. And I hope you get yours soon. And I let me take a snapshot. Nice. Nice. Make sure you smile. So anyways, Haley, that's a really rough position to be in. And in that kind of position, what can you do, right? Now, obviously, you got to be there to help her. She's going through this hard time. She's just confessed her feelings and got rejected, and she feels really upset. Anyone feels emotional after that. And if suicide is something they've been contemplating before, then, they'll contemplate it even more. So, yeah, I mean, what can you do but sit there and try to help her? I think that's all you can really do. And so one thing you can do is maybe just spend more time with her, talk to her more, whatever, play games with her, find something to do. The unfortunate thing is by doing that, you kind of allow her to live that fantasy of dating you, but you got to do what you got to do. And plus, emotions fade with time. And so the more you get to know somebody, a lot of times the more the emotional high or the obsessions with somebody wears off. And so if you spend more time with her and opened up to her more, the more time you spend with her, it might take a year, it might take 2 years, it might only take a week. But the more time you spend with them, the quicker the emotional high will wear off, the quicker she will stop wanting a relationship from you. Okay. So I would encourage you just to spend time with her whenever you can. So, obviously to protect her and, from her bad thoughts and so on. And also to be strong in that too, try not to talk about your own self wanting to commit suicide or to harm yourself or that kind of stuff. Because if you talk about that stuff, that will make her think about that stuff more. So try not to talk about that stuff around her, so that you can be strong for her. The best way to influence somebody, she's one of the few IRL friends I have. Yeah, and that's why it's so important to keep her close, But she wants to date or cut it off entirely. I can't lose it though. Yeah. So I don't think that's an option. If she wants to date or just cut it off, she's doing a last ditch effort and probably doing a bluff. Maybe not, but I'll tell you, just do your best to say, no, I'm your friend. And you're one of the few in real life friends I have that I just absolutely love you. So let me spend time with you. I want to be your friend. I don't want to date you, but I want to be your close friend. And let her know that. And say, if she says, no, it's date me or we don't talk, then you know what you do? You ignore what she just said. And then you just keep on saying, no, like, I'm your friend. I'm not going to just ignore you. I'm not just going to, let this end or let this disappear. And I won't date you, but just because I won't date you doesn't mean I don't love you. I love you as a friend. And loving someone as a friend is oftentimes more than loving someone as romantically. Because usually when people love people romantically, it's all about themselves. It's all about what I can get, to please myself. When you're thinking those romantic thoughts, those are all in your head, pleasing your head, making you feel good inside thoughts. But when you love a friend, it's not romantic and it's really actually just about them. Sure. Yeah. You can be like, oh, I love hanging out with that person. It makes me feel awesome. Right. Sure. But at the same time, a friend is a friend to the end. No, a friend is a friend to the point of, no, like we struggle together. Those romantic thoughts don't get in the way. They're not a part of this relationship. It's not about me. It's about us. And it's about making you happy and you sacrificing for me sacrificing for you. That's friendship. So a lot of times friendship is a more realistic love than romance.
Yes.
And so let her know that. You can say that to her too. And just said, I'm honestly just wanting to date her, not because I want to, but because I can't handle losing her right now. Right. You don't have to though. Don't because if she says, I'm just gonna not talk to you anymore, or I'm gonna commit suicide, or whatever, then be like, no, I'm gonna be with you, and spend time with her. And then if she hangs up the phone, call her back. If she ends the conversation, start it up again. I mean, it's not right to settle on something that isn't right. Because okay, it's not okay to do something that isn't right just because someone else wants to do something that is wrong. Like, you know it's not right to date somebody, to lead them on, because here's the thing. What happens if you lead this person on? What happens if you date them? Well, how does that end? How does that end? Does that end pretty? No, it doesn't. It ends worse. It ends worse than it started. I can tell you that's true.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you that from witnessing that from other people that I've seen do that to other people.
Yeah, it's hard.
It is not something you want to do. If
No.
she wants to commit suicide right now, what do you think she'll do when you eventually dump her later because you dated her now? Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be way more painful than what she's going through right now. Rejection ain't nothing compared to that.
Mm-hmm.
So don't play her. Don't play the girl just so that she'll survive. You know, be honest with her and open up to her in a friendly way the best you possibly can and do what's right. You know, if you do what's right, you have no shame, you have no guilt, you have no reason to regret, even if someone else does what's wrong because you did what's right. Because that's on them and they were going to do something wrong either way.
Mm.
You know, people do wrong things, but that has no fault of you. You can't
Right.
be upset if she does something wrong. But yeah, I'll tell you, the best outcome here is to do the right things.
Mm. Mm.
On the bright side, me and Raka have some good news. Yeah, I heard that your mom likes Raka's accent. So that sounds like you and Raka are able to talk now. And your mom seems to be somewhat approving of you guys talking. So that's good.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, I don't know. That's all I got to say. It's kind of a weird situation. It really is. It's really tough because yeah, you want the best for your friend. You're like, no, I don't want this person to hurt themselves. Um, so it's really hard. You're being put in a tough spot between a rock and a hard place, you know,
Yeah.
and you're being forced to try to make a decision here. And they're saying, I'll kill myself if you don't make the right decision, you know, and it's like, that's not the right decision though, you know,
Right. Right.
that's, yeah, and that's not very fair to you. That's not nice.
No.
But anyways, I'm going to let Joe say what he's got to say.
Well, Kayla, boy, oh boy, that's just like one thing after another that there seems to be in your life going on,
Yeah.
painful experience after painful experience after painful experience, and I'm so sorry to hear that, these things are happening. You know, anytime I hear about somebody going through struggle, especially relationship struggles, with people close to them or people that are friends and all those kinds of different things, it really breaks my heart,
Yeah.
because it's so painful. And I'm so sorry that you got to go through this. I'm so sorry. Like Ryan said it perfectly. He said, this is kind of being imposed on you. Like, it's not something you've decided. It's not something you've walked into. This is something that's happening to you
Mhm.
outside of your will. You didn't ask for it. You
It's
didn't
not
do
your
anything
fault.
to deserve it. There's none of it. I mean, it's just, this is being imposed on you and it's not fair. And I'm sorry.
Certainly not.
But I want to tell you, Ryan really hit the nail on the head. And there was another thing someone in the chat said, I can't remember. I think it was Akil, um, talking about, that's not real love. What's going on here? This
Dragneel,
isn't
love you.
loving.
Have a good night, man.
Yeah. But okay, let's just take, there are a few things that I know about love. There's some stuff written about love in a pretty good book. It says some things like love is patient. Love is kind.
Is this
Love does not
patient?
envy.
Is this kind?
That what's going on here, this is not patient.
Mm-mm.
This person is not being patient with you. They're giving you an ultimatum and saying, hey, either date me or nothing. It's either all or nothing. That's not patient, and that's not kind. And another, love holds no record of wrongs. This person is saying that you've wronged them by not deciding to feel the same way they feel. And somehow that has wronged them to the point where, they are saying they want to commit suicide. That's keeping a record of wrongs. So there's a lot of there are things in this situation that point to this. This is not love, what's happening here.
Good job, Anna.
It it our culture that we live in wants to talk about love. And I have the right to love anyone I want, but I don't think they're really talking about love. It's more like they should be saying, I should have the right to gratify whatever urge I have with anybody I want to, as long as they're okay with it. And they somehow say that that's love, but it's not, because what we're talking about here, love is something selfless. It's something that's given without expecting anything in return. It's something that you give. I was talking to a friend who's going through a marriage challenge, and he's like talking about how there was a conversation he had with his wife, and she says, well, I really hope that I don't fall out of love with you in this situation, because they were going through a really hard time. And I was like, wait a second. The secret to marriage isn't love or the feeling of love. The secret to marriage is commitment. The secret to any relationship, really, you're committed to this other person. You're sacrificing yourself and the things you want for this other person. That's love. I love Ryan. I absolutely love Ryan. I love Jesse, our producer. I have lots of other people that I absolutely love. And it has nothing to do with anything selfish. It has nothing to do with gratifying a feeling. It's the fact that I love these people, and I'd be willing to give my life. I'd be willing to, jump in front of a car or jump in front of a bullet or whatever, all these kinds of different things.
Eat a poisonous sandwich. Oh, well.
Eat a
I don't know the circumstances there where that's
yeah. So, but just understand, Kayla. I understand, it's hard for us to not blame ourselves in these types of situations. It's hard, especially when someone is telling you, hey, I feel suicidal because of this. But it's not your fault. To love someone romantically is not something that can be forced on anybody. You can't blackmail someone into a relationship with you and expect it to be good. I love how Ryan put it. He put it so much better than me. With where would this relationship, if you go along with this and date this person, then where does that end? It just ends in more pain, because it's not based on a love. It's based on a desire for a selfish desire, not a giving, loving, desire for the other person's best interest. So yeah, I'm sorry. I hope that didn't come off too strong, but that there isn't much love in what this person's doing to you right now, Kayla. And I understand they're a close friend, and I understand that they're, It's somebody that you want to keep close to you, and you should be able to, without having to give in to uh, the temptation you have to do something that you know isn't right. That I mean, that you don't have these feelings for this person. It would not be right for you to pretend, because then your relationship's based on a lie. Because you would be lying. You say, "Oh, well, okay, I will date you and I will say that I have these feelings for you." But that's a lie. And relationships built on a lie don't last. And when they end, they just hurt more. And again, Kayla, I'm so, so, so sorry that you got to go through this. And I hope that you can take all this turmoil inside your heart and throw it all over your microphone in something amazingly emotionally stirring, because your singing has that in it. And that's the best part of, I mean, someone who's technically a very good singer, I give them mad props for having technically good vocal skills, absolutely. But someone who can put everything they have going on in their heart into that performance, that tops the technical ability all day long. And you've got both, it sounds like to me, from what I've listened to. So, Kayla, thank you for contributing. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm sorry again. I'm sorry if this came on strong. I'm sorry, but I just wanted to make sure that the truth was known of what's going on in this situation. And there are people that love you. There are lots of people who love you. And they love you for you, and they want what's best for you. They're not interested in something selfish for them. They're interested in you and what is good for you. So you are amazing, and thanks for being here. And that's about all I got.
All right.
We got all kinds of chats going on. They're talking about K-pop now.
Well, Sonali's talking about BTS. I wonder what his BTS is short for.
I thought it was a typo. I thought it was supposed to be BSS.
Well, he said BTS and then BSS in one sentence, so I'm not sure. Another BTS man of BSS. Yeah, but now we've got multiple conversations going on about Purple, about Kayla, about K-pop.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's great.
Fake love.
Yes, you guys are so awesome.
Yeah.
We got the best community on the planet. There, it's so crazy. Like, I have never experienced what I've experienced in the BSS community. I've been a part of different forums. I've seen all other stuff going on, but I've never seen anything like this, where you guys are so supportive and so loving and so awesome.
Jack wants you to play the out-of-tune bongos.
Oh. No, they're not too bad.
They're not too bad. The one kind of
Bong
has
Joe. The what? This one?
Yeah. When you let it ring. It's not too bad.
Yeah.
Oy!
I use all kinds of different instruments. I use my desk as an instrument. Was it one time we did a recording where I had to make the sound of an elephant stampede?
Yep, and you used your chair.
I used my chair and my desk and a cup and some other stuff.
And then there was another song you used a stapler and A
You have a
filing
stapler and some
cabinet.
scissors and yeah. I forgot about the
Scissors.
filing cabinet.
Yeah, man. You've used a
Yeah,
lot of things as drums. It's
it's
great.
fun.
Uh-huh.
Oh, what fun. Yeah, when's the next Criminal Idol song?
I don't know.
It's
Someday.
coming. It's coming. We had to get the Criminal Idol shirts.
My sister came in singing "The Fish Are Drowning" to the beat of the bongos. That's awesome, Kayla. That's awesome. Oh my gosh.
Oh, you guys are
They're
amazing.
drowning, they're drowning, they're drowning.
But yeah, so let's see. Let's look at what we got in here. So Jack the Naturally Unnatural. We have an issue from you posted. Unfortunately, we're not going to get to it tonight.
We
So
will be getting to it next Wednesday, though. So, or Friday, whenever you show up.
yep,
Next time you
when
show up, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna
yep,
do yours first.
you're in line, your spot is in line, and so when you show up, we will do it.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. And if we forget, you remind us.
That's on you.
You come in and be like, "Hey, listen,
Hey, listen.
listen, you got to do my post there. Don't forget."
Listen. You got to do my thing, or I come at you with something painful, like weapon of some sort. Not going to name any, but you'll figure out what is pretty quickly when I show up with my pain inflictor.
Hey, when did you think you became part of the Russian mafia?
Let me tell you something about Russian mafia. When you in Russia and you in mafia, you just regular citizen because all regular citizen is part of mafia in Russia. If you don't know that, that is because you're not Russian.
I was gonna try and get into this Italian thing, but
That is
unfortunately, the
Italian.
way the Italian things go, they usually gotta swear a lot.
I know that is problem. See, that is why you don't Italian. I tell you that. I'm telling you that you don't Italian because that is not good idea.
I'll just be a nice Midwesterner. A Midwesterner where we talk like this to our
Can you
elders.
talk like someone who from uh can you talk like someone who from uh what is place to west of Wisconsin? What is
No.
what is place west of Minnesota? Can you talk like Minnesota person?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I can talk like that.
That's what I like. I like that one.
Don't you know they can do that over there?
I like when they offer me
Over
coffee.
there they got lots of lakes and stuff. They go fishing and stuff and oh yeah.
Minnesota. Man, I love Minnesota accent.
The Michigan accent. We
The
don't have
Michigan,
accents in
we have,
Michigan. There's no
yeah,
such thing.
yeah, this is the Michigan accent, but then there's the Northern Michigan accent, which is different, which is like the Yoopers.
Oh yeah. You guys want some coffees?
These guys want some coffees. I love that line. It's literally what they say too. Perfect. Or if you're from, so Wisconsin or Wisconsin or Wisconsin,
Wisconsin.
Wis,
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. Um,
I can't do a Brooklyn accent all that well.
oh man, I can't even try. Yeah, what? How do we get on this?
Because you started talking like a Russian mafia guy.
No, you did.
Ah,
Whatever, man. I'll pretend you're right.
we're gonna offend somebody.
They don't know that. They don't know. The Russians don't know they're Russian. They don't even know that they have this accent or that they're part of mafia, all of them. They have never actually been to Russia. That is why they're Russian. It is. You might say that does not make sense, but I'd like to believe it's true.
It still makes no sense.
That is okay. It's okay if
Yes.
not. It's,
Oh man. Well, now that we're to this point, I think it might be time to end the stream.
that is probably a good idea. You should do that.
Yeah.
One.
You
All
guys
right. Thanks everybody for
are
joining
awesome.
us. And we love you guys. Thank you for all posting all your that you have. And we hope to see you again next time or the time after. Whenever you show up, we're glad to see you. It's always wonderful to see you guys communicating with each other and with us in the chat. We appreciate you guys doing that. And so until next time, have a wonderful life experience.
Yes.
See you guys.
Come back on Wednesday.
Yep. Peace.
We'll be here.